Hey there, champions. Swinging down the street so fancy free. How are we? What's going on? Made it a bit too hot, but damn, it's good. What's going on? Legends? It's fucking cold this morning. Oh, I just demonetized myself. Great. It's about 3 degrees outside this morning. A little bit nippy. That's why I'm all rugged up. It's cold for Australia anyway. Hope Brad's got a note from his mum why he's late. 10 minutes. That's early for me. I was really early and all of that stuff, and yeah, it didn't work out in the long run. What am I trying to say? What are we doing, champions? I don't know. What are we doing? Dying. That's what we're doing. Going over some amplifiers and devices. Well, everyone's on my back. When's it ready? 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 It's ready when I fucking ring you. So let's work through the backlog. Let's do some heads first. Just get them out of the way. So I've got some room to maneuver some big combos. I've got to order a bunch of stuff. There's no point doing that today because I won't see the orders till Monday anyway. I've been forgetting to order the occasional thing, and I go to do the job and there's some part that the job required. So I get the thing out and I start working. I'm, oh, fuck's sake, I forgot to order that thing. Or I had an order sitting there waiting for me to assess another thing that I'll combine an order with. If you just order per job, you just get smashed. You get fucking destroyed by postage shipping costs. Only some of the suppliers will give you free shipping over a certain threshold of money. But a lot of them don't. They just charge you anyway. So refresh your web page, guys. Yeah, do that. So, with a new month comes 10 new gifted subs. Thank you, YouTube. So whoever got here early, you can cross your fingers. You might get a gifted subscription. Just got to find my live stream. All right, shut up. Man, this web page is really slow to load. Echo? I don't think so. Someone's saying there's an echo. Let's listen. This web page is really slow to load. Nope, no echo. Membership gifting. I have 10 memberships to give. So let's give 5 now, and we'll give 5 before we finish the stream. So anyone that sticks around to the end might get one as well. So gift 5 subs. There you go. Who got them? BC Electronics. Mark Manning. Mark, hello, mate. Steve Wildebeest, Ryan Sakera, and Briggs, James. There you go. Be good if I actually had time to do enough videos that I could give you something special for the members thing, but mostly it's just my ranting. I keep it off the main channel. I'll tell you what. So what have we got? Oh, we've got a very pretty box. Everyone loves a pretty box. Softex EL34s, match pair, supplied with an amplifier. Have a quick look at these. So there's no guarantee that they're matched or anything. Generally don't like using customer supplied valves, but we can give them a run. They look new. What date code's that? 2002. I think it goes year then month, year then week. 0206. What do they pay for them? $95. Yeah, that's not a very good price for back then. Yeah, I think they pay the retail display tax. But we'll see what the existing valves in this amp are like before we go just willy-nilly changing them. He's supplied 2 switches too, so this is what happens when a customer decides to diagnose the fault before bringing it in. It's probably not the issue. I don't think it's ever been what the customers suspected it was. It's always been something completely different, but you know, you never know. It could be. So this one is a Laney. There you go. You just bash the camera and it goes into focus. I figured that out last stream. GH50L. When champions, are people going to stop thinking that silk screening chrome is a good idea? He's giving me the switch, but I don't think it's even... No, it's not even the right size. Be surprised if that even fits in the cutout. So, he said there's some funkiness in the switch. Feels okay so far, but that's no guarantee that the contacts will be good. It was always free on. Yeah, it's probably the fuse. Everyone's like, it's just probably a... They bring in stuff, they're like, yeah, it's probably just a valve. Yeah, it could be. But generally, I don't think, you know, your channels not switching would be related to a valve, but what do I know? Thanks, Eric. Shout me your coffee, mate. Put it towards a beer or something. No more dry July. Yeah. Yeah, we hit the target. We overshot it somewhat. I set it for $1,000. I think we made it up to 1,300. I've been meaning to do a video saying thanks to everyone, but I haven't had time to do anything. But yeah, we smashed it. I had a couple of beers on Thursday night. My brother came around here, and one of the other shops, Ben from the framing place, came around and had a few beers. Then last night I had a couple of red IPAs from Mountain Culture and a whiskey. But yeah, the old body's not sure what to do with the alcohol just yet. Definitely out of practice. So, having a look at the valves. Still got vacuum. They don't look overheated or anything. So let's get this thing out of the cabinet and have a gaze. Stop fucking around, Brad. Hurry up. Morning, Juan. Morning, Alan. Pete, Mark, Wes, Richard, Lou. My 2 cents for grounding question. Think chassis as shield and not as ground path. Yeah. Tell that to Fender. Yeah. Essentially, yeah, you should have... Think of your return currents. I don't know where that question came from, but yeah, think of your return currents, and consider the chassis is just a shield, usually tied to the input, and nothing else but the earth pin. which is a lesson that pretty much every boutique amp manufacturer is yet to learn. Because they all seem to ground the earth pin at some stupid place, not right next to the input. Laney do like the square mesh. You can get that shit off the shelf. I've had to order that before for architectural wankery. Yeah, she's got a toroidal power transformer. Looks almost like a Marshall output transformer. Looks like a diagonal. Is this chassis going to slide out when I unscrew it? No, looks like it's against the valence. Laney's are great. Both kinds, country and western. Yeah, printing to chrome screen printing to chrome is a pretty dumb idea. I don't know why all these amp manufacturers like doing it. I wonder if Brad's got a hangover this morning. No. I'm hungry. If I was hungover, I wouldn't be streaming. Alrighty, let's see how this thing's built. Ugh. Like I said, I'm not a guru. I'm just a janitor with a soldering iron. Ooh. Ooh. Looks reasonably well built. Haven't seen inside this particular one before. Oh, my arm's killing me. It's never getting better, eh? I fucked up a tendon right there when I was lifting keyboards at Dr. Gear. Lifting a fucking 1991 Clavinova Yamaha thing, and I think that's what did it. I couldn't tell at the time, but next day it started giving me grief. Well, it certainly looks the part. Single-sided PCBs, but well laid out. We've got two chassis-mounted caps, which are hidden under that board there. Got a relay. I wonder what that's for. It's in the power supply area, so I don't know that it's channel switching or anything. Suppose we could look at a schematic. Crazy talk. Alright, so we've got a shared ground connection there, which again is not brilliant, but at least it's right next to the IEC input. You got a fuse on the active, that's good. You got the fanboys love the hard bends in the wiring, but then you got sort of Marshall style hookups over here. Probably due for a recap, being that it's a billion years old. Can't see any evidence of leakage, at least physically. So, you know, we could keep that as an option if he wants to go the whole hog. But in the meantime, we'll figure out what in particular is wrong with it, the reason it got brought in. Now, did I enter this digitally, job sheet digitally yet? Let me log into my accounting software and see. Do I need multi-factor authentication? No, it's still good from yesterday. Laney and their rivets everywhere. Yeah, they've riveted the valve sockets, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but granted, Marshall did that as well. So I started entering job sheets into 0, but I stopped halfway through, so now I don't know if this is one of the million job sheets that are still in hard copy or if it's in the system yet. So I mean, like, this is This is all the jobs that need to be even assessed. I think there's like 50 pages here. It's hard to explain to customers just how much fucking work is in before theirs, because it's going to be 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Oh no. And you're like, bro, in 2 weeks I've got to get like 75 jobs finished. Some are going to take a whole day before I can even look at your amp. So, but the problem with someone like Lyle, he can just hide away. No one can get in touch with him. People get upset. You see in their comments, I'm trying to get in touch with you because I want you to do my amp. He's like, he can't take it. Like, just, he'll get in touch with you when he can take the job. But here, because I've got a public facing store, they just turn up with it. And what do you do? Fuck. You can't turn them away, or they get the shits and don't come back. So you've just got to take it and just work your fucking ass off. Alright, so reports of... I have entered this. Thanks, past Brad. Reports of muddy sound. Reportedly, it's still got the original valves all around. Power switch playing up. There's a street sweeper. That's that dickhead that blocks the traffic every morning. So, I had to go into Penrith for something, and on the way back, it was peak hour, so it was like 8:30 a.m. So everyone's trying to get their kids to school and get to work, and the fucking street sweeper chose that moment to just cruise down the road at 1 kilometre an hour, and the fucking line of traffic was like literally a kilometre long behind him. What an asshole. EL34 output valves and configuration requested. I don't know what this originally had, but at the moment it's got 6L6s. And we've got, let's get the meter onto it. We've got 470 ohm screen grid, so it's probably set up. It's got 5.6K grid stoppers. And pin 8 and 1 are tied to ground. So yeah, we'd probably just check the bias circuit range, and you could put EL34s in there and change the screen grid resistor to 1K at least, 1.5, 2K maybe with current production valves. And you could put EL34s in there, because that's what these are. But we'll not change them if it's not required. It might be running it so cold that they could last indefinitely. Only been one amp tech here for 20 years and more, but just found a builder close by. Just hard to find a good amp tech. Yeah. Probably because it's a really silly career path, Joe, to be honest. Lyle has been known to flush away unwanted visitors with a generous stream of isopropyl. Some of them might like that. I would happily wait 3 or more months to have Brad or Lyle working on amp for me. Well, tell that to my customers, Rob. Most of my customers are just walking off the street, like they just found me on Google, whatever, and they don't care. It's just a repair shop to them, and it's like getting their phone repaired. They just want it back tomorrow, and it doesn't work that way. What I'm starting to realize is I need to take my time with jobs. Like, I was working on, let's show you some photos. I was working on a Line 6 DT25, which I'm starting to get to know pretty well, those amps. And because I was taking my time with it, I found some stuff on it which I probably wouldn't have if I rushed it, right? So I fully disassembled the amp, and when I was putting it back together, I was taking my readings for the output transformer primary. It does have cathode resistors there that you can measure the cathode current, which includes the screen grid current, but I like to measure the drop across the output transformer. And I'm glad I did, because then I found this, which would have freaked me out, because the thing was together and working, but I decided to further disassemble it, and this is after doing some upgrades, further disassemble it and give it a good clean, because it was full of cockroach shit. And then I found that the one side of the output transformer was an open circuit, which didn't make sense to me, because it was previously working fine after the initial service. But I decided to take the front board out, the control board, and clean on that, and I'm glad I did, because it looked like this. There's cockroach shit all through it. So, oh, hang on, there we go. So it turned out that it was just the crimps. So you're not supposed to twist and tin crimps, like the wire before you crimp it. You're supposed to just have it bare. So that's after re-crimping it. So that's the original crimp. So you can see it's tinned and twisted, and then they've crimped it, thinking that they were doing good. But you're supposed to actually do it like that, so not tinned, so you get maximum surface area, and it sort of squashes it and crimps it properly, because you see here on this one, it hasn't fully sort of engaged the crimps. They've sort of hit and then stopped. You like, look at that. You'd think that that was a good connection, but it wasn't. It was the blue lead there. So taking my time and taking the thing apart led to me actually finding that fault where I probably otherwise wouldn't have. A lot of people comment that I probably go a bit too far with amps, but the amount of stuff I catch just before putting it back together, because I do go that extra mile, and stuff that's really a problem waiting to occur. I wouldn't have found any of that stuff if I didn't take my time with stuff. So, you know, everyone wants me to rush everyone's job except theirs. Essentially, they're like, get all those jobs out of the way, but take your time with mine, you know, like really make sure it's... So, you know. There is the reason to own more than one amp. Yeah, that's right, Wes. Have a backup amp. That's what I tell the wife. With Richard, good call. I own about 6 amps, different sizes, but only 2 I can use pretty soon. Only 1 amp egg sounds like a What? What are you talking about, Joe? I own 3 and they're really not interchangeable. Well, the AC-15 and Deluxe Reverb could swap. Yeah, it's all about redundancy. So yeah, if your main rig's a Deluxe Reverb, I think an AC-15 could step in pretty well there. Damn, that shit looks nasty. It does. It was fucking gross, and I vacuumed it all up, but I still got really itchy skin. I have an allergic reaction to cockroach shit. As soon as it is in the area, it almost triggers my asthma and makes my skin itchy. Channel switching question. Vactrols or relays? Relays on signal path or shunt to ground? A combination of both with solid state relays. That's what I'd use. The LC something and the H11F2 or something. This is just off the top of my head. I've used mechanical relays on my latest amp, which I'm yet to test. We'll see how they go. But yeah, you can use any relay wrong. The biggest problem is just making sure you've got the same ground potential on on whatever you're switching. The same reference to ground, I mean. If you're switching a cap, it'll have some undefined voltage across it when you switch and you end up with a big pop. So put a like 5 or 10 meg resistor on one side, and it'll just reference that to ground without really affecting the signal at all. It's a lesson that Mesa Boogie still haven't learned after, what, fucking 50 years? 40 years, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, the Ampeg doesn't get much use. Way too loud, but I bought it for 46 years ago. What Ampeg is it, Joe? because we've got an Ampeg coming up. I just finished the video on the VL1002 last night, but I didn't compile it yet. My Ampeg is making a weird moaning noise, probably can caps. Really? Have you got a link to that video, Joe? It'd be interesting to see what kind of sound it is. 2 out of 4 of those Polum Tellum. What? From eBay, Ukraine seller microphonic just for interest. Oh, the Ukrainian sellers selling the like 6v6 or 6L6 rip-offs, Russian ones. They're microphonic. V22, V4, 1970. Well, we've got a V4 coming up today, Joe. So you're in luck, mate. You get to see in the guts of your amp. Just not your amp. Batch 687, Australia. So Jenny wired it, and Jenny wired it. Wiring 1, wiring 2, both by Jenny. Thanks, Jenny. Good on you, Jen. October 28, 1994. Check by Dave. Amp test by Dave. Thanks, Dave. 1994. I was 10 years old, and I just discovered sort of. I think I just sort of started to discover like Deep Purple and stuff around then. About 10. I was still into country music and that, and the Shadows. Alright, let's get the meters hooked up. Have a look at the primary drop. Just check that the valves are currently stable. Just do some tracing out in my head. 2 and 3, pin 2. Nice. They've used the bottom eyelet, so the top one's available for our probe, which is a good move. Now, where's the supply? We've got our standby switch. I think that's switching AC because they're using both poles, and that's going straight to the transformer. So that's actually what you want on your standby. You want to switch the AC because it's easier on the switch. Oh, we can just hook straight onto those diodes there. Let's show you what I'm doing. That might be right, eh? I need to get a bit more slack on my leads here. I like to keep the Velcro on them, just to keep things in an orderly fashion. You have around 20 amps. I think I'm going to buy Red Bass EL84 tube amp Doctor from now on. Yeah, I mean, everyone piled on with that video I did recently. That was more of a video. I think they were just photo posts. That was more of a PSA of the batch. Just like, watch out if you got this batch number. But everyone took it as, yeah, fucking tube amp Doctor is shit. It's like, yeah, everything's shit, bro. Like, everything is shit. What matters is what the company does to treat it. Even some of my friends were like, yeah, well, you know, they did the right thing, giving you a return or whatever, but it should have never had a problem in the first place. But we're dealing with valves, man. It's like an antiquated industry that's barely limping along. And you've got companies that are somehow trying to make a buck in it. So, you know, it's not exactly like medical equipment or something so super critical like that, is it? It's just, it is a bit embarrassing when a customer comes in and basically accuses you of not doing a good job because the same amp has another issue or the same issue again, but it's no fault of your own. But what I'm going to do is, to eliminate that, I'm going to get a maxi matcher or build just an output stage of an amplifier and just burn them in, like every set that comes in, and run them for an hour. And if there's any issues, I can shove them up the manufacturer or distributor's arsehole, and they can give me a new set. And hopefully we catch a bit more. But still, like, I guess with if you made an output stage with the phase inverter and everything, you could pump some signal through it as well, and really, really punish them, like take them up to, you know, the kind of voltages you'd see in an amp. Because even the maxi matcher only goes up to 400 volts, which is like, I'll be running valves on the Variac, and at 400 volts it'll be fine. But when you run them up to like 495 or something, that's when arcing or flashover happens. So, like, even the Maxi Matcher wouldn't show you that shit. So, yeah. And shipping is a problem too. Good point, Riley. So, you can pack them, you know, really well, and get them sent from the vendor here, but there's no guarantee, you know, what they were like from the manufacturer to their shipping port, and from their shipping port to the distributor here, and you don't know how stuff's been handled in the meantime. I mean, ideally they'd be hardy enough that that wouldn't be an issue, but they're not, so. Been at vacation house for 2+ weeks with a Boss Katana Mini on... Sorry, I'm going to hiccup. Into an orange 1x8. I miss my home amps and 2 Zilla 2x12s. Well, Rob, it's all about the practice, eh? Just think about the playing. All the more reason to find a good solid state amp. Yeah. Pity there's not many of them. And the modelling stuff has a set lifespan from the day it's made. Yeah, I mean, if you get modelling stuff, just be like, it's kind of disposable, you know. It's just the days of having an heirloom amp are long gone. If you go down that path, I mean, like, you can still get heirloom amps from like good manufacturers, but they're a bit more specialised. Don't think they have bubble wrap in Ukraine. Really? I don't think they've got a lot of things in Ukraine at the moment with the war effort. You could do a 5C5 output stage, pretty easy to get together. What's a 5C5? Are you talking like Fender circuit? Is that one of the deluxes? No. I'm talking about like an output stage with a big fuck off transformer that runs up to 500 volts, switchable to like 800 volts, so you can run 6550s as well. Or, you know, KT88s, and something that can actually produce the rated output power through an output transformer up to like 300 volts, 300 watts. I'm talking a fucking monster rig to test everything. Fender Pro, okay. Have an old Fender Harvard solid states. Yeah, I've heard about them. Is that solid state Harvard? Needs a recap. Great sounding amp. I was like their deluxe reverb solid states. They're not really worth working on. Very impressed with the PV Bandit 65 Solo series. The PV solid state stuff is actually great. Fender Pro, right. Who's here? Why is there someone parking? It's like fucking 7:41 AM. There's a confused person driving around in the car park. I just get a bit suspicious because on Saturdays people come and try and steal scrap metal from out the back. Why is there shit everywhere? Why are the labels on the floor? Oh, someone brought their kids around. Kids, when people bring their kids here, they just let them run around and just grab shit. It's pretty frustrating because they're talking to you and you're watching the kid out of the corner of your eye and you can see that they're watching you watch the kid, and the kid's just like pulling price tags off guitars and throwing them on the ground and shit, and you're just like, can you control your little fuckwit, please? I had a few people that just walk in with their dog too, like, and then if you say anything, they get upset. It's like, don't just bring your dog into a guitar shop. Like, at least ask first. Fuck. People treat their dog like it's a person. It's a fucking dog. Anyway. PV solid states are like Toyotas, and their tube amps are like Pontiacs. That's a good way of putting it. Anyway, I better do some work, eh? Let's plug in the speaker. Oh god, everything's tangled. Everything's fucking out of order today. It's so frustrating. It's just, there's no time to do anything. I've been trying to send a package now for like 3 days and I just can't find time to send it. It's just like there's no time to sit down and fire up a fucking order for a shipment, you know. Every spare second of the day is filled with trying to keep fucking repairs under control. Let's go a Variac. Picked up a PV Studio Pro earlier this year for free and flipped it later. Should have kept it. It's actually a great sounding amp. Studio Pro. Got an 80s PV renown. It won't die. Sounds a bit shit though. Oh god, I keep picking things up. Forgetting about my arm. That motion of picking stuff up with an extended arm is the worst thing. It's picking up firewood. Keep forgetting and it kills me every time. We've got a slow combustion fire at home, which we haven't been running because we're never home. Phil and I basically just meet each other and go to sleep and repeat. Power on, standby on. Give it some signal. Hertz. So good. Why didn't I hear a pop? 8.3 volts. What am I measuring here? Why's that got 0.3 volt? Oh, hang on, because standby's not on. No. Okay, we've got a relay there. Alright, so the relay looks like it's actually switching that HT. So that's why we've got some voltage across it. Because I'm not actually tied to the center tap of the output transformer yet. Until that relay closes. So we won't have HT until that closes. Let's look up a schematic here and see what the fuck's going wrong. Laney. GH50L. That's the one, isn't it? Yep, sweet. Alright, we have a schematic. Ooh, service manual even. Ooh. The way to my heart, Laney. Come on, you piece of shit, slow ass fucking computer. Right, power switch, power transformer for transformer. That's the mains inputs, and then the red, the standby switch. Yeah. Where's the relay? Doesn't show it, just shows the board. So that's the standby switch. Goes to there's the two greens, they go to the diodes, yeah, via the fuse. Alright, so that's all shown. Pretty funky valve drawings, eh? Alright, so there's a turn on delay. So here's your bipolar supply for the solid state circuitry, which is 7805, 7905. Plus minus, okay, so they're lifting the reference for a 5 volt regulator using a 5.1 volt Zener. So that's a way to change the voltage of your regulator by floating the ground on some other voltage, which in this case is defined by that 5 volt Zener, so that's giving us plus minus 10 volts. Kind of curious choice there, but whatever. And they got some TL072s, looks like, around the FX loop. So they're pulling the unregulated DC from that supply on the positive side. And then they're using that via a thermo switch. What is that? Circuit breaker? Maybe that's a different model. A different region. Because that seems to be just hardwired straight to the relay. Alright, and that pulls from the 10 volts. So when the 10 volts comes live, it initiates a delay via this time circuit that switches that FET, which then switches the driver transistor for the relay and turns it on. So even if you turn them both on at once, it'll still have some delay before the HT is switched on. And there is no cap before that, so that will switch that relay will be at the mercy of these two caps, 100 microfarads in rush. And the black wire is the center tap for the transformer. And the red and blue. Okay, where's the black wire disappearing to? There it is. So that's on that side. Alright. What I might do is remove a bit of solder from that little pin there, and we can get a lead on there. It's a bit of a blob at the moment, so it's interesting. 1.5k. Hang on, this is the 100 watt. Where's the 50 watt? So they're just showing the 100 watt, and I guess for the 50 watt you just have to assume that there's half the output stage there. Main PCB. Alright, so that's just like the production. That's like the production circuit. So I often do this. You'll draw the overall like schematic, but then that's showing the whole schematic, and there's a lot of hand wired stuff. So these valves obviously aren't on the board. So that's the whole circuit. Then this is the actual production circuit for the board itself, just showing the pads where all the hand wired stuff fucks off to. But yeah, I was primarily looking at the output stage here, because on this model you've got 1.5k screen resistors, which is probably what I'd go with EL34s. Whereas on this model we've got 470 ohms and they look stock. So this is a 6L6 version, and that seems to show. Oh, here we go. So you got the option of either one, EL34 or 5881. You can run 1.5K screens with 5881. That's fine. So I think the bias is just, it's got a wide enough range for either valve type. So that's good. So all we'd have to really do is jack up those screen grid resistors, which is a piece of piss. In the process, while we're working in that area, we could put some flyback diodes and stuff there as well, just for safety's sake. Since it is a head cab, it is a head unit. I'm partial to installing flyback diodes in heads, because people forget to plug them into their cab. Whereas a combo, you've got the built-in speaker. It's a bit less likely that you unplug it unless you're doing stuff in the studio with other cabs, etc., etc. Sorry, just catch up on the chat, legends. We're talking about war. That's always fun. So many Flukes. I'm too cheap to buy one. They're good, man. You get them second hand. You get them for about, I don't know, like $300 or something. Someone gifted me a channel membership. Yeah, that was me, Ryan. I get 10 free memberships to gift to people every month. People can buy them as well if you want to donate to the channel. You know, show your appreciation for my staring at schematics and frowning. People can buy like 5 or 10 memberships, and they just go to random whoever's in the chat. And I think whoever's most active in the chat it goes to first. But I get 10 to give away every month, so I usually give away 5 at the start of this. Well, usually just 10 straight away, but now I'm going to start giving away 5 at the start of the stream, 5 at the end of the stream, and the first stream of the month. Bought a Keysight, much cheaper than a Fluke. Really? I thought they were more expensive, Hal. Because Keysight's like what HP was. You're one of us now, Ryan. You can't escape. I might start doing some live KiCad streams for members only, where I can show you how I'm doing layout and whatever. You can just be a fly on the wall while I'm talking shit, while I'm laying out a board. Brad, I frequently take 1 or 2 of my dogs into the local hardware store and other places that allow dogs that are friendlier than me, less likely to bite or pee on the floor, and better looking too. Yeah, that's cool. Like a hardware with the concrete floor and everything's one thing, because hardwares are sort of semi-outdoor, aren't they, really? I mean, they're not, like this is a carpeted, almost like a sort of like an office, like a house, more than a warehouse like a hardware would be. But you just, wouldn't you ask, like, for a small place, especially with these musical instruments? Like, I don't know what their dog's like. Turned out it was fine, but yeah, just sort of just ask, champions, especially a music shop. My younger kids and grandkids will be prime draft age in a few years. My preference is they get to decide on a military career rather than being forced into it. Military is actually, like, before I got the shop, I was thinking, shit, should I just go into the Air Force and get free training that way? Because, yeah, you get paid to learn. It's, in the Air Force, all they do is sit around and drink anyway. At least in Australia. Brad, when you do CAD designs, who do you send it to manufacture them? For metal, I send it to AA Laser. It's my mate's got $1 billion worth of laser and metal folding equipment, all CNC. And he organises my powder coating and stuff for me as well. And for wood stuff, like cabinets, I send them to my brother at Square Peg Woodworks. Square Peg Woodworks are a fucking amazing company that does full house fit outs for some of the richest fuckers in Sydney. and my brother works there. That was actually my first job out of high school. I worked for them when it was a little back alley bloody operation. Back in the early days, they still had some pretty high ticket clients, but they're nothing like they are now. They were nothing like they are now. But yeah, it's every now and then I go to a gig with the boss of that company, and Sam is a bloody legend. He's the one that got me into a whole bunch of different music. And yeah, well, I think the last gig we went to see with him was Smith Street Band, I believe. Yeah, old Sam, bloody legend. He actually got me. He's the one that took me to the Pantera gig. Him and Jace, my brother. And I was like 16 and went to see Pantera on their Reinventing the Steel tour, and they got me good and drunk before it. And yeah, I woke up the next morning deaf, like my hearing was fucked. I definitely got permanent hearing damage from that gig. They had the JBL Vertec system which had just come out, and apparently the guy running PA for Pantera back then was a massive cokehead, so he always pushed it into clipping. And the kick drum had more top end than the rest of the kit. It was this massive click on top of the kick, and I think that's what did most of the damage, the fucking kick drum. So anyway, I woke up at his apartment in Bondi the next morning. Yeah, pretty not really knowing how the night ended. With a cat on my face, and I was allergic to cats, so I woke up with this cat on my face, severely hungover, and I threw the cat across the room, and it ran out the window, and then I remembered that he was on the second floor. I'm not sure what happened to that cat, but yeah, it was interesting. This explains a lot. Yeah, that I'm deaf. I'm not deaf. I go up to 17 kilohertz, which is pretty good for someone my age. Yeah, I did not feel good after that gig. The click drum. Hate that sound. Yeah, Pantera was all about that. The massive top end on the kick drum. Yeah, almost got then we went to see System of a Down a couple of years later. I was actually 18, I think, by then. Yeah, with Sam and Jace. He was living in Annandale by then, and I almost got hit by a bus that day. we were going across the road to get a 6-pack or something, and I took this gap in the traffic, but there was a big bus stopped at the set of lights, and I'm going, oh yeah, here's a gap. I run across, and then this other bus comes past it that I didn't see, and I did like the Superman jump over this bus shelter, or the waiting seat for the bus, you know, what's it called, this fucking bench seat, and I did like a dive over that, and the bus just missed my foot by about half a foot. Good times. Almost dying makes you feel alive. Yeah, the stuff Square Peg do is bloody amazing. Let me give you a look at their website. Square Peg Woodworks. I think there's even some of the photos I did for them back in the day. Desk share. There we go. Let's have a look. Oh, they've got a lot more on there now. So here's one of the jobs I worked on years ago before I was doing this stuff full time. So that's all wraparound shelving. This is some house in Vaucluse. Did all the stairs and the shelving and that. I think I might have shown you guys some of this stuff before. Yeah, stuff like that. All bespoke, you know. Pretty cool stuff. Do some real trippy shit too. Let me find oh, there's some photos I took. I think. Yeah, that one. I remember working on that one. That was all ironbark veneer. Yeah, can see by the location that it's all very swanky areas. What is that? What is going on with that bench? Oh, that's that porcelain shit. Huh. Whoa. Oh, yeah. I machined the wood for that, I think. And I fucked up and made the pieces the wrong size and I had to redo it. Whoops. Yeah, that's all American oak. These bloody architects, mate. It's almost like the architect, like, oh, can you easily build that? Yeah. Okay, well, we better change it so you can't. Let's make it. The design's not finalised until it's a massive pain in the ass to make, like all these curved panels and whatever. But they all want solid timber. You can't just use veneer, so you have to like make it like a wine barrel. Pretty cool stuff. Oh yeah, I remember working on this one. This was a great. I actually I saved this house from burning down. Jason and I, because ironically we were behind schedule and it was coming up to Christmas. We were one of the last trades there locking up for the end of the year, and I smelled this really strong, almost like a varnish smell, really strong varnish smell. I'm like, that seems wrong. Like those guys haven't painted that, like they haven't finished that floor for a good couple of hours now. It shouldn't smell that strong. So I went down there and had a look, and one of the steel like garbage bins, the garbage pail thing, was smoking, and that was on a timber floor. And I had a look inside, and all their linseed oil rags were piled up in the bin, and it had started smoking. It all turned black. And when I pulled the rags out and exposed it to oxygen, the fucking flames came up. So I took the metal. Luckily, it was metal. Took it outside and hosed it out, and let the foreman know, rang him up, and someone got their ass kicked over that one. But yeah, you can see there just like chunks of granite. Let's cut a sink into it. None of this stuff's like off the shelf. It's all custom made. And yeah, it's all sandblasted Oregon. So you get the Oregon, you cut it up, you send it to the sandblaster, and they blast it, and it gives this like a sort of driftwood type look to it. And it's right on Coogee Beach. It's like a $12 million house. This is actually their bungalow out the back. But yeah, he's just another property developer that just made his money from ripping people off. It's pretty standard. But he got like cast concrete features and stuff, like really hectic. It was really fun working. It was stressful because pretty much every job that came in was stuff that you hadn't done before. It was like constant challenge. Like, how far can we push this? Like, you got to think about stuff differently to make it happen. Their website's really not great. Zooming in and it sort of, oh, you can drag it around, righto. Yeah, it's like your toilet, and like that's like a $5,000 light fixture. You got like little cutouts in the mirror for lighting. Yeah, just everything was custom. There's what's that, dining area, I guess, and then you got just a library up there with more crazy lights. Oh, so that's the back of the library. So that's actually like opal acrylic or something. Anyway, we're way off topic, so maybe I'll get back to amps, eh? Yeah, it was good fun working there, but very, very stressful. Saw Motorhead in the 80s in this pub with a low roof in Tenaida City. I saw, oh, you saw Kerry King Mastodon on Lamb of God last night. Holy fuck. Lamb of God was boring as usual, but Mastodon killed it. I love Mastodon. And Kerry King sounded great. So is Kerry King out on his own now? Is he like solo? Yeah, Motorhead. We saw him at the Enmore Theatre, directly opposite Six's shop, and we had shit tickets. We were up the back, and they had a fence. You couldn't get down the front, so we waited until the Waited until the lights would go dark between every song, and Jason and I jumped over the fence and went right up the front and shared some sweat with Lemmy. He's got the microphone up like that and he sings like this, you know. This starts to remind me of the only Aussie TV show I've seen, The Block. Yeah, those fucking wankers. But the prefab concrete bunker walls are so homey. Yeah, so homely to have precast concrete in your fucking living room, eh? But sun's out. I'm off for a walk back later. See you, Hal. Have a good walk, mate. I should be doing that. Look at the sun coming in. I need to get more vitamin D. Not on my TV, mate. Shocking show. The Block was one of the reasons that every dickhead thought they could renovate their house and didn't know what was involved. And got in a bit too deep. I think a lot of people regret watching that show. They always had to show me the invoice for every light fixture that was over $5,000 that I had to install. 230,000 for this Austrian crystal boule chandelier. It's insane what people spend on shit. Just fucking, yeah. Whatever. Alright, so we sort of can't do the Variac with this one. We'll have to just pump it. We'll have to just raw dog it, champion. Pardon me. I think I need my bigger tip on. You pop vitamin D like candy. So can't you like get an office where you've got some sunlight coming in or something? Or do they keep you in a basement? He's on his own, but his band is chock full of old metal dudes. Paul Bostaff is in. Yeah, right. Paul Bostaff's a fucking legend. Death Angel are awesome too. Oh, yeah, the singer from Death Angel is on vocals. He's mad. I love Death Angel's vocals. I'll have to check that out. I haven't had my finger on the pulse with the old Kerry. I thought he was doing fuck all. I thought he was just living a life of leisure like Tom. See, Tom's just not interested in music anymore. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It keeps in very dark rooms. My doc has me on 7,000 IUs OD. I don't know what you're talking about, Wes. Don't throw bloody acronyms at me. It's Saturday morning, mate. So, roll call. How many viewers have we got? We've got 71 viewers, and I'm seeing about 6 names regularly commenting. So, anyone who hasn't commented yet, throw me a comment. Tell me you're here. Tell me what your name is, what you're all about. You're part of this journey with me. Just actually hooking these leads around the post because they were just tack soldered. Kerry King has anger. Tom's got kids though. Don't they all have kids? I saw a mad photo of Tom. I don't know, he's at some awards ceremony or something, and he had his family there. Ken's just lurking. It's alright, Ken, you can just lurk. Tom, family. Meme. Yeah, here it is. Oh, Google image. Can you just stop being so shit? Oh, it's on fucking Twitter. Fuck Twitter. Something went wrong. Try reloading. Yeah, of course it went wrong because it's fucking Twitter. Twitter's a pile of shit. Open image in new tab. Here we go. Desk chair. You could be the one I saw. You could literally be the singer in Slayer, and your teenage daughter will still think you're lame. Like, look at her face. She's just like, Dad, Dad. And he's like, yeah. Classic. Listening in while clearing out the wife's van. The wife has a van? I don't know that I'd trust a woman that owns a van. Seems a little bit getting ready to get rid of you, you know? All right, we've got two handy little spots there to hook our probes onto now, and we should be reading the primary resistance. Helps if I switch it over to resistance mode, doesn't it? All right, so we've got 47 ohm, 48 ohm on one side. Teenage girls only like Taylor Swift. Now, I tried listening to a Taylor Swift song, and I'm like, what the fuck is this popular for? I know I'm an old cockhead, but there's no substance. There's nothing there. There's just nothing there. It's just like, it's like eating fucking white bread. Like, and that's all you eat. It's like, I don't get it. They won't get it in 5 years either. Like, that'll be a cringe thing. They're like, oh, I used to like Taylor Swift. Oh, fuck. All the music I liked as a kid, I still fucking love, right? When you see these people and they're just the normies that don't, they're just not music people. So they just think of music as just a, I don't know, like a background thing. We don't worry about those people here. Yeah, I don't get it either. She's a generic as other pop music. Yeah, it's literally, it sounds like it's written by a fucking algorithm. Don't know, it's so weird. There's no soul, no heart. Yeah, it's like it's written by AI. It probably fucking is written by AI. There's like 4 chords in, like, every song has the same structure. It's just, I don't know. As a kid, I knew real music. Like, I could tell that something was good or shit as a kid. And it was frustrating when my friends around me liked shit music. So I'd naturally gravitate towards the people that understood music, and that formed most of my childhood and teenage years. Oh my god, fuck normies. Yeah, fuck normies, Ryan. Actually, no, don't fuck them, because it's boring to fuck normies. What is this? What's what? What's what, Yeatsy? This is shit talking and not really getting work done. It's as you've come to expect on my channel. Don't dare slag off Taylor Swift. I will slag off Taylor Swift. I think she's a nice person, but her music is fucking dog shit. Auto-tune instead of learning how to sing, yeah. There is good music out there, just have to look harder to find it. Yeah, and the people that say, oh, there's no good music these days, and then they listen to the Eagles. It's like, fucking, the Eagles aren't good music. Alright, let's fire this thing up. It's just fucking raw dog it, eh? But bang! That's what fuses are for. Raw dog. No smoke. 50 watts, 40 watts, 30 watts. That seems a bit low. 27 watts? What? Have we got heater? You heard the relay click there. So now we will be able to switch the standby on. Now that it shows the timer's working, so that's good. Yeah, we've got heaters. Life in the Fast Lane is a dangerous song to road trip to. Yeah, I like Joe Walsh. The rest of them are fuckwits, though. Music. Pop music is supposed to be disposable. Elton John said that, really? Except back in the 70s he put out some good stuff, definitely not disposable. Yeah. Highway Star is a great song. I agree. Okay, so what do you Aussies think about King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard? Yeah, they're fantastic. If not, I'm kind of jealous of them. Like, how the fuck do they release so much music? It's insane. And they're one of those bands where I really admire the fact that they can't decide on a genre. Because one of the first bands I got into was Custard, because I saw them supporting the President of the United States of America when I was about 12, 13. And their album, We Have the Technology, it was so weird. It was like every song was a different genre. And it was the first band where I realised that's okay. You can do every genre if you want. There's no rule saying that you have to be this style or that style. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard really took off for that. Like, they'll do a metal album, they'll do a funk album, they'll do a microtonal experiment album, and they'll do, just so inspirational how creative they are. I reckon they're great. Tame Impala are great too. There's another band called Pond. They're like Tame Impala, but a bit more trippy, if that's possible. Yeah. Who's the band that sings I'm on smoke? Oh, so leave me alone. That's the Chats. Joe's got great chops. Yeah, he's got good mutton chops too. The Chats do smoke, oh yeah. They're a bit of a meme band, but I prefer Amel and Co. Amel and the Sniffers is another great band. She just does not give a fuck, and it's fantastic. I love her. She's a legend. Taking notes now. That's good. Yeah, so Tame Impala are good, if not a little bit too easily digestible. So if you like stuff a little bit weirder than that, get Pond, which has got some members from Tame Impala. I think there's even some King Gizzo members in there, or that have worked with them anyway. But yeah, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, they released like 10 albums in 1 year or something fucking insane. Like, they're young blokes. How many albums have they got? King Gizzo and the Lizzo Wizzo. That's what I call them anyway. King Giz and the Lizard Wizard albums. They got like, oh my god, how many albums have they got? 26 studio albums. And they've been around since what? So they formed in 2010. So in 14 years, where's their discography? They've won a fuck ton of awards. 29 studio albums. They've got a bunch of EPs too. There was, I think during COVID or whatever, they released like 5 albums in 1 year or something crazy like that. Yeah. Pretty amazing band. Pigs. Yeah, they're awesome as well. Coffin is another good band I like at the moment. Coffin. They've been around for a while. Battlesnake. Yeah, I've heard of them. So yeah, this music's everywhere. If you say you can't find good music, you're fucking lazy. It's not even hard to find. Like, you're all on YouTube right now. Use YouTube Music, right? If you get sick of ads, pay the $12 or whatever it is a month. Like, fuck. But I prefer going out and buying actual albums, because I'm old school. Alright, let's blow up an amp, eh? We've got signal. I forgot that I got the signal going in there. So straight away, I can't see any issues with the switches. Drawing 63 watts, so she's biased pretty cool. Well, you do the math for me, legends. Alright? Turn standby off. I'm going to get you guys to figure out my bias point. Because you should fucking know by now how to do it. I've showed you enough times. Alright, so. Tell me the dissipation of each valve. And don't tell me in milliamps either, because that's not dissipation. That's fucking current. 47.2 ohms on one side, 48.2 on the other. Get your calculators out. Switch over to volts. Now we're measuring the drop across that resistance. So we'll turn her on. Turn the volume down. Alright, so you got 1.48 volts on one side, I'll say 1.49, and 2.05 on the other. Now, the other thing you need to know to calculate the dissipation is the plate to cathode voltage. Now in this case the cathode is 0 volts, and we're already referenced to that with the multimeter on the ground here. And we've got 418 volts cathode, plate to cathode on one side. I've got 417 on the other. So yeah, just go 417 volts. And they're 6L6 GCs. So now you've got all the info that you need in order to calculate my bias point for me. So chop chop, hurry up. Viagra Boys. Yeah, Viagra Boys are awesome. Idols are good. Yeah, I like Idols. Their latest album was produced by a hip-hop producer because they wanted that hit, that bassy fucking boom. Yeah. Viagra Boys, they got that song, that new song that came out about 12 months ago. I'm Loose. Is it? I'm Loose? Yeah. Viagra Boys are great. So, you know, you're lamenting, oh, there's no gigs to go see, fucking nothing's good anymore. You guys in the States and the UK, fuck me, your festivals are massive. And your gigs are non-stop. Over here we get fuck all, but we still get enough to keep us happy. So yeah, no excuse for not going to see some amazing shit if you're in the States in particular. Unless you're the middle of nowhere, but, you know. There are some obscure genres that are some fucking comedic. If you love, I can't read what you're saying, Seth. Cowpunk. Yeah, I've heard of Cowpunk. It's a really fun live show. Sorry, I still have no clue what's going on. What are you worried about, Mark? We're just 15 watts. Yeah, but what's that in percentage of dissipation? That would be 50%. Rodney Dangerfield said the answer is 4. Rodney Dangerfield doesn't say anything. His frozen body. This would be mush by now. He was hoping to get brought back from the dead. Alright. So we've got one person's answered 15 watts. So what did we calculate? Anyone? I'm getting 44%. Let's run through how I landed at that. Got my new notepad. Already filling it up with notes. That was the notes from 2 amps. 82%? What? Your answers are dramatically varying there, champions. I think I need to teach you how to do it. This is interesting, though. Seeing how widely everyone's answers vary. Alright, turn it back on the standby. Poker machines fucked up the gigs in Oz. Yes, they did. Fucking poker machines. We need to make them illegal, man. You know they're illegal in Melbourne, except for the casino. That's why Melbourne has a better nightlife, because there's not just zombies sitting there fucking putting their life savings into a fucking machine that never gives them anything back. Honestly, you'd have to be a bit of a fucking simpleton to use use a poker machine in general. Alright, so on one side we've got 47.4. Let's round that up, 47.5. We'll go to the nearest half. 47.5. Well, I tend to go up because when the transformer warms up after being on for a little while, when you switch it back off again, you find that it's gone up by 0.2 or something of an ohm. So 47, 48.5. So 47 point, we'll say 47.5, 48.5 on each side of the primary. And then our VAK, I call it, so voltage from anode to cathode, because cathode starts with a K, the symbol starts with a K, which means up above in Greek, and the K is from the Greek word, whatever, something like that. So we'll turn that off resistance now. We've taken our measurement. That doesn't change. Think of that as a constant. Turn on standby. So we've got 1.5 volts drop on one side. We've got 2.05 on the other. 2.05. And our voltage anode to cathode, what did we say? 417? 417. 417. So we divide 1.5 by 47.5. That gives us 31.6 milliamps. On the left, 2.05 divided by 48.5 on the other gives us 42 milliamps on the other side. So a bit of an imbalance there in current, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because we've got different resistances on the primary. Now in this case the resistances are pretty close, so we've got a bit of an imbalance there in the current. So you got to get your order of magnitude right. 0.0316 because we're talking in amps, multiplied by 417 volts is 13.2 watts, and 0.042 multiplied by 417 is 17.5 watts. So 13.2 divided by 30, which is the maximum safe dissipation of a 6L6GC, is 44% on one side, and 17.5 watts on the other, divided by 30 watts, is 58.3%. Repeater. So we've got 44 and 58. So 58 minus 44. 58. What's that? 58 minus 44 is 14. So half of 14 is 7. So we'll go 44 plus 7. 51%. 51% average plus minus 7%. And that's our reading. That's the one I quote on the job sheets. So plus minus 7% is a fair bit out. It's 14% different. Poker machines are illegal in South Carolina. Every now and then you can come into some gas station and in the sticks and hear some in the back. Oh, so they run them on the slide, do they? Output tubes seem to be very well matched, but hey, not very well matched. But some say this sounds great, so the amp has to sound awesome, right? Brad, did you learn mostly from your dad? Yeah, I learned quite a bit from Dad, but mostly I learned this stuff after they'd moved away, so a lot of it was self-taught, just researching and reading. We had one of those mostly dry storms with a shit ton of lightning, and kablam, all of the wiring for the whole house is inside of that bathroom wall. The gypsum board almost came down. What, from the fucking lightning? Really? Sorry for the many emoticons. Got too excited with clicking. I was told there will be no math. Well, I don't know who by. What is that quote out of anyway? I've heard that a lot. Just a quick what's up, brother? How you going, Frankie? What's going on, champ? All math is derivative. Alright, so we don't have a bias balance adjustment in this. We've only got an overall bias setting. So let's have a look at the schematic. I'll show you where that is. So here's your bias supply. You've got the orange windings here, ground on one side. It's got the direction of the diode there defines what voltage is here, whether it's positive or negative. It's in this case negative. And that goes off up here. What are they using that voltage for? Oh, that's for 2 bias levels, maybe? There's a switch there. Yeah, so it's got EL84. Ah, there's a switch for the different bias setting. Right, okay. So, if you switch that, it comes down here. Alright, so that switch, when it's set to what mode? Doesn't say the mode, but yeah, it basically parallels the 33k across the 22k there. So that would give it a higher voltage because it's a voltage divider. And you think of all this, if you're doing the equivalent circuit, essentially if you ignore the filtering stages, it's just a resistive divider to ground, and then the output of the divider comes out here. So you got your 22 and your 15k in series. You got the 15k is forming another filter node. The 33k across the 22k reduces that to, I don't know, what that'd be like. I don't know. We'd have to figure that out. That's another thing you can figure out. What's the 1 over plus 33k plus 22k, and then that would, so essentially when you flick that switch, that lowers the resistance here, which makes the top half of the voltage divider a smaller resistance, which makes the voltage more negative. And then here's your end stop resistor, so that determines the minimum possible resistance that the bias adjustment trim pot can reach. When it's maxed out, you've got both those resistances in series, just adding up. And then that feeds the 220k. I call them bias feed resistors, but yeah, essentially it's like ground reference as well. You could call them the grid leaks, I guess. And then that feeds the grid stoppers to the control grid via the 5.6k resistors. Sorry, I'm stumbling on my words today. I don't know what's going on. So that's a bias circuit, but there is no adjustment per side. So yeah, it's just the overall bias level. So there's no way to balance these valves with the current circuit. You could put another trim pot in to balance between, so how much goes to each of those resistors, sort of like connect that end of that resistor, that end of that resistor to either end of a wiper on a trim pot, and then cut this connection here and feed that to the wiper itself. Sorry, saying things wrong. So 220k, you could cut this line here, attach them to either end of the wafer on the trim pot, and then attach the feed to the wiper, and that would give you a bias balance. Anyway, he wants it set up with the EL34, so we'll do that. We'll just change this to the EL34 voltage by the switch. So yeah, here you go. The EL34 mode would be when that switch is open, because it's a less negative voltage. Carrying on. But I think I've got enough to go off for a quote on this one. We'll just check the ripple on the HT, see what condition those caps are in. house has been hit 3 times in 50 years. One strike out back. Took out the igniters in the ovens. And goused up a colour TV. Wow. That bias circuit looks identical to my AOR. It probably is. Probably use the same circuit in most of their amps, at least for a. I mean, there's pretty much sort of that's the most basic sort of bias circuit. You know, just a voltage divider. They've got other nice to haves in there, like a filter, 2 filter stages, which I'm a fan of. Just reduces the hum. Alright, so we've got 1.7 volts AC, so that's not a lot of ripple at all. On the screen node, we've got that weird pulsing, which I still haven't figured out what causes that. I think it's the soldering station, other stuff on the main. So watch this meter. Is that in focus? No. So I'm measuring the AC. Oh, you can't see fuck all, can you? I'm measuring the AC on the screen node. You see it's all over the shop. But look at the bar graph down the bottom. You see it's sort of pulsing. But that's in time, I realised, with my solder station. So I turn that off. And she settles right down. So 15 millivolts on the screen node. That's extremely low. Normally you see like 300 or 400. Am I on the right connection there? Maybe not. There's our bias winding. There's our choke. Oop. Yeah, that's our screen node, but ridiculously low ripple. It's impressive. That's why there's like zero hum out of this thing. It's literally like no background noise. Very quiet. Well done. We live in an air gap capacitor. God is playing the big Wurlitzer. Listening to Brad and Lyle talk, I'm just trying to keep up. What do you want to know, Wes? It has been in the 80s, 90s every day in New England. 100% humidity. Wow. That's scary, actually. Still, 100% humidity. So is it true that you guys sort of have 2 storm seasons, one at the start and one at the end of summer? I bet if I talked about simulating rigid body dynamics for a while, I can make you feel the same way. Yeah, probably. I feel deceived by the thumbnail. I just want you to know that. Good. Clickbait. That amp's right there. I did take that photo last night. I'm going to get to that, Yeezy, but I think I've shown that one on stream before. I've got to get the customer to drop off the rest of the bits and pieces for that thing because he only brought like half an amp around. But I gave him an estimate. It's going to be like every resistor is drifted. It's going to be like fucking $2,000 to restore that thing. I've got enough to go off for a quote for this. There's nothing wrong with the switches. I'll just quickly measure the contact resistance once she discharges. But Yeezy, you've got to get out of the vintage stuff, mate. You're not learning fuck all. How many Fender bloody... Oh, hello. Someone beat me. How many bloody Fender eyelet amps can you do? Like, you gotta get out of your comfort zone, brother. Start working on some dumb shit like I do. I'm just jealous. Because they're amps that you can charge big ticket for restoration of. And they're pretty simple. So, you know, that's what you want, really. There's just not that many of them around here. Alright, I know what I've got to do for that one. We'll pop those valves in. Offer him, I think, given the measurements I've taken, probably don't need a recap on that one. And if it is mission critical, like he's gigging with it, he might want to do it anyway, but... Excuse me, hang on. Alrighty then. What are we on? Oh, let's work on the Ampeg. I promised, who was that with the Ampeg V40? Oh, Jesus. Bogner. Fucking so heavy. Rivera, I need to write that quote. I've got so many fucking quotes to write. Oh, Michelle must have booked this one in. That's not my handwriting. Oh, she's a weighty bastard. Alright, V40. How do I get into this thing? There's a bunch of random shit in the cabinet. Why? People, stop storing gross things in your cabinet. VT40, sorry, not V4. The Lionheart 112. Is that the 10 watt thing? Or is that the 100 watt thing? Learn to sweat copper pipe at age 12. Too old to change. Plastic pipe is for septic lines only. I agree. See you, Ryan. Now you're ready for a black star. Lure me with a JMI box. Got a thunderstorm rolling through right now, really. I mean, at least he's not working on another Blues Junior. Yeah, I think I've fixed most of the Blues Juniors around here. Is shop 10C, why is Brad coded? What is the temp? It's actually up to 19C now. I've just got it on out of habit. I'm a little bit of a cold bitch. I don't like when it's cold. Alright, gents, time to go make some dinner. Alright, see you, Ryan. I can't grow a beard. Life's not fair. Lightning is actually extremely high frequency AC. The cables are weird. Wired flat braided copper or aluminium. The fittings are bronze or aluminium. Is this for lightning rods? Got a Pioneer Elite amp for free. Needs fixing though. Pioneer Elite. So that's hi-fi. Hope Brad's just got a flat battery and not in a ditch somewhere. What? I'm right here. What are you talking about? Is the stream cut off? No? $41C? Where are you, Scotty? That's a bit warm, isn't it? Yeah, it's a weather check, everyone. So, what is it now? It's very low humidity. So you've got to watch it. That's why I've got this grey mat here. It's not just for looks. That's actually a static dissipative mat, and it's grounded to the ground pin, so I can work on computers, basically digital stuff. Alright, let's battle this thing, I guess. Southern Idaho. I thought it was starting to cool down there already. You guys having another heat wave? I thought it was starting to calm down. I thought it was starting to calm its tits a bit. But nope, guess not. Oh, you fucking hex drive cockhead. It's got to be different, don't you, Ampeg? Probably Imperial too. Ha! First go. So the Lionhearts are interesting. They're a rare instance of a parallel single-ended amp. So they'll have like two EL34s single-ended, but they're running in parallel. It's an interesting way of doing it. The 5 watts just a single-ended, I think, but I think the 10 or 12 watt or whatever it is, it's actually a parallel single-ended amp. It actually is Class A. Very rarely is my video out of sync? Look like it's gone out of sync. How does it look? Let me hear myself. Is that out of sync? Looks late. Let me just undo my video feed. 1 sec. That's more like it. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, sometimes the video, I just need to unplug and replug into HDMI. It seems, I think it's an OBS thing. OBS is a pile of shit, so. Well, that was weird. YouTube just crashed my browser and logged me out. What? It wasn't me. Wes, I swear. I have an important question, Brad. What is the proper tool to remove ring nuts that are used on DP, the really thin ones, ring nuts? I'd use this. With a bit of tape on the end or something, just so you don't scratch it, but they're like screw removal pliers, but they're really good for gently removing those things, just making sure you don't scratch the front. So I use them end on. So yeah, you get the haven't got anything nearby, but you get the switch. Just gently turn it from the end, and just put a bit of tape or something on them. Channel locks. Yeah, that's a bit heavy duty, but them, you got to be very careful not to scratch the surface, but you can use like needle nose pliers, but yeah, they tend to overshoot and scratch the surface. Got to be very careful. Now I saw a question from Gooden. Hey Brad, your expensive kinky pliers for putting a dog leg in component leads are apparently available in less expensive versions marketed to jewelry makers. Xuron makes them, as other companies too. I've got some here, but I'm not happy with the machining quality. Where are they? Here they are. So these are the cheap ones you're talking about, I believe. Gooden. So these are used for jewelry and stuff. But look at the surface in the inside. It's like rough cast. And that would put like scores and stuff in the leads. And you know, at the end of the day, you do that, and it sort of doesn't properly form it. You still have to do some manual work. You know how much we hate manual work. Let's say I've got a bit of wire, and say I tangled it with other bits of wire, and then come over here. So that's about all that does. It's not really, you know. You still got to go to the other side, and you know, when you can just get this thing, go to the end of the lead and just go bing, and she's done, you know. So, you know, I think the money's worth it with these ones. There are cheaper versions of these too. There's rip-offs now, but I find the machining in this area is a bit shit. I think they've done it with EDM. Possibly laser cut. I don't know. I think they've cut it out of sheet stock because you can see the press marks there from like the punch that's punched out the part. And I'm not sure how they. Oh yeah. So it's pushed from this side downwards and sheared off because the bottom side's like sharper than the top. But then it looks like they probably rotary tumbled it or something, the parts. Take the edges off. Just take the edge off. But you know, if you you don't really know what tools are like these days until you've actually purchased them, which is a bit of a shame. Because they show a really nice tool in the photo and then it turns up and it's a fucking rough machine piece of shit. Here's my little leather branding. Put them on the front of my amps. Not very smart from a marketing point of view though, because you can't sort of make it out in the dark. Who doesn't like making out in the dark? Bit of untanned leather there. So yeah, I was thinking maybe I've got to get something shiny like laser cut logos or something that you can see in a dark stage. Try and promote the name a bit more so I can make amps instead of the boutique fuckwits that don't know how electrons work, that seem to be getting all the praise at the moment. After I clean up their mess, me and my colleagues have to clean up their mess and make an amp not go on fire, and they get the credit for it. Yeah. So I've got the branding iron. Actually, where is that? Is that here? Yeah. So there's a company I got these from called Hex and Hit. It's a pretty cool logo. A fist. And basically, here's my little pins for connecting them, but you send them a DXF and they route out a brass, big chunky, like half-inch thick brass stamp. You can use them for, they market themselves as like wax stamps. So you use them for, like, you know, sending a fancy letter. I've got two different sizes. And I think I use that one for like the tweed style amps with the narrow panel at the top. Now I use them for the head style amps and for guitar straps. The idea was I was going to do branded guitar straps. I just fucking another project I just never got around to. So that goes into the arsehole of them. And then it goes into my big fat soldering iron. Now I've determined that 160 volts on the variac is good for these to be an optimum sort of temperature for the leather. Because you go too hard and it burns it. And you go too soft and it just doesn't come out. And that's just my tip I got in there for chassis soldering. And but yeah, this iron actually came as part of that kit. And I just happened to use it for, because I think, yeah, it came with that as well, because it was in the plastic packet, but I use this for my chassis soldering. There you go. Fucking tangent town. You love tangents, champions. You love me going on tangents, looking at shiny things. Wait till the point-to-point pedal guys find the Beadsmith loop applier. They sell every other type but those. Well, I make a similar one, but they're £80. Those Kyoritsu forming pliers are like rocking horse shit in the UK. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. They stopped making them. They do make them, Richard, still, but they're a different type, and they actually cut the lead as well, which is sometimes not desired. I've got one set here. The rest of them I've sold. I've removed these from the site because I wasn't happy with the machining on them. It's actually going to damage your leads. Focus! Focus! So you see there, it's supposed to be a round, sort of round thing to mate into here, but it's actually sharp. The machining wasn't quite hit right there, so that would actually put a nick in your lead and give you a weak spot. So that's why I've still got those ones. It's a bit of a shame when they cost that much, but that's the new coder, the one that cuts off as well. You can see it cuts the lead. Where'd my wire go? I'll put it away. Fuck's sake. So you cut it and form the lead in one motion. It's pretty cool, isn't it? And it's just enough to go through a board. However, it's not a lot to go through a board. You can't fold the leads over really. So you got to sort of do one component at a time, because I like to load the board with components and flip them over and then solder them all at once, but with that it would just fall out again. Just little annoyances in everyday life, champions. Alright, now I'm going to touch the scroll thing and then it's going to scroll too far. Hey Brad and everybody, running late today. That's alright, mate. What's that tool called? What tool? The pliers. It's a PNG 3000? PNG 5000 by Piergiacomi, made in Italy. For the jazz archtop community, I'm seeing a lot of love for Henrik's and Bud 6 amp. 120 watt 6-inch speaker and tweeter. What? I wonder if that's like a sort of thing with like the DV Mark jazz amps. The Lazy J guy was on that pedal show. There was nice one, Scotty. Are you saying one of the two guys in today's TPS Tweed Amp episode is responsible for the Lazy J abomination? I'm sick of that old fucking argument. Who cares? Just let him keep ripping people off, whatever. I'd wear a BGG belt buckle. Yeah, that's a good point. I should get some belt buckles made. I don't tend to wear belt buckles. I just use the skatey style ones with the little clasp. What about hot stamp gold embossing on the leather? Yeah, I've seen that, Seth, and you can get those machines pretty cheap, but it looks a bit tacky to me. It looks like cheap Chinese rip-off handbag look. Not a big fan. Personalised grilled cheese sandwiches. That's a good idea, Ted. I was actually toying with the idea of making a portable barbecue plate out of stainless steel and getting a laser cut, so you have the whatever logo you want actually gets seared into the steak. I've seen people do that. I have the lead cutting ones and they're useful some of the time. Yeah, not ideal though, eh? I prefer these ones, and then you can just do what you want with the lead length. I mean, you could run the lead out the end and like just but yeah, it's a bit fiddly. For standing off power resistors so you don't burn the board. Yes, that's right. B-Blod. How you going, man? You come over from, well, I'm saying man. How you going, champion? You come over from Paul Daniel's stream last night. He's a madman. He starts work at like midnight. He's definitely a night owl. I'm the opposite. I wake up too early. Can't stay asleep in the morning. Shane Ianson. I'm in the US and Laney for the most part have been non-existent. People say that a little 5-watt EL84 amp for 1200 US is stupid, but far from it. Something about a simple single-ended amp. Yeah, I mean, if it's well built, it's sort of that's what it costs, eh? I mean, you still got the transformers. They've actually, with a single-ended amp, you've got a bigger transformer for the output, so that the Class A, actual Class A, output amps are transformers. Fuck, hang on, let me stop. Single-ended output transformers are larger because of the air gap in the coil, in the core. Sorry, so they're more expensive given the same wattage. I'm in Australia, Shane. The Lionhearts were around for a while, then the Cub line came out. The Cubs I'm not a fan of. I've had ones come in here where they need like shit done to them when they're new, just to make them work, make them reliable. It's pretty sad when you got to modify a brand new amplifier to make it not die within the warranty period. So the Cubs aren't great, but the Lionhearts I've not really seen. I think I've seen one or two of them, and they were reasonably well built. Guitar Factory around the corner deals them. I played through them there. I think back when I was doing repairs for them, like just testing a guitar that was doing something funky, I'd plug in and have a quick play, and they sounded good. I like the blue Nubtex. I think it's Nubtex covering. The blue vinyl looks cool. Differentiates them from all the other brands. I don't think many people have a navy blue Tolex. Alright, how's this thing mounted? Because it feels like the chassis suspension mounted in this, which is a bit weird. And a loose speaker jack. Alright, I've got a weird sort of slide out suspension mounted arrangement. I think I need some light down here. 1 minute, legends. I'll be back with you. Look at my head. Oh, that's a nice bokeh. That's the Voigtlander. Voigtlander lens. Voigtlander? Oh, spider carcass is nice. You like the Voigtlander? Looks nice, eh? I'm in. How are you, champ? Powered up on Variac. Nothing blew up. What did I suggest again? I've already forgotten. It was the TV you were repairing, wasn't it? What was wrong with it? Was it caps? Generally don't work on TVs. They're sort of disposable these days, unfortunately. $9:08. 42 minutes till I got to open. 42? No, 52 minutes. 1972 black and white tube TV. Right, and what was wrong with that again? TVs are a bit scary, eh? With the cathode ray tube and it's fucking 6,000 volts that it holds. I've got someone trying to get in at 9 o'clock. God, it's non-stop. Everyone wants. Fucking hell, it's got like a 4 meter long cable. Alright, how are we going to get this out? Ooh. Comes with its own, not trusting them. Comes with its own schematic. But yeah, that's doesn't stay upright. So I'll flip it over. Actually, that's a bit annoying. It's got a suspension mount, but it's connected by friggin' 3 bolts each side. Makes working on it a bit of a pain in the ass, actually. I'll put some blocks under the transformers. I think that should get us there. Nine kilovolts on the tube. Yeah, like I say, they're a little bit scary, the old TVs. Do not want to poke around where you don't know what you're doing. Let's get this wound up. This cable's already annoying me. Oh, is that a compactron? No. 12DW7, 6CG7. A couple of weird valves in here, champions. Grab a bit of Velcro. Color can have 25 kilovolts. Jesus. Keep one hand in the pocket, yeah. And blow your fucking finger off. Because the whole, what is it, Aquadag? The whole tube acts like a capacitor. So, when you take that rubber boot off, there's about, several kilovolts. So many want to be a repairman. TV repairman in ads in the 70s. Is that because they're all dead, Lou? Because they all got electrocuted? Or just because no one wants to deal with it? We'll test the speakers. Oh, that's so light now that... look. That's my bad arm too. Now we've removed the amp. The cabinet's light as. Give the speakers a quick sweep, see if they're okay. Hand peg. Mess the boogie category for me. All of the nope. Every nope. Too many leads. Where is it? That's the alligator clip one. rattling there, but holding the baffle stops it, so I think it's cabinet based more than anything. Alright, they seem like in good nick. 4 8-ohm drivers, looks like in series parallel configuration. Just good little signal generator, that one. It's got a low enough output impedance you can drive speakers directly to just see if they're happy. Alright, how do we attack this thing? There's 4 screws pointing upwards, so I don't know what they're securing. Okay, what was that? Press to lock. Oh, it's got spring reverb lock? Huh. Yeah, reverb lock for travelling. There you go. Never seen that before. Alex! Alex! How you going, legend? Couple of missing screws and odd screws. Just goes to show that the previous person who worked on it's probably done more damage than good, because they can't even fucking manage to not lose any screws. It's always a red flag. I've got the connections to the reverb tank. Okay, we've got bulging caps, original caps, dated 1976. That one's blasted shmoo out the end. Greasy liquid on some of the boards. Got damaged and cut traces in various places. Some of them look intentionally cut, other ones look just damaged. Yeah, pretty shocking circuit board quality. Oh, we've got one cap's been replaced. Why do you just replace one cap? Alright, that's got an F&T 50 plus 5500 volta Marshall style cap. That's the bright blue one there. Yeah, I'm not going to power this thing up at all. About 10% of the solder connections are cracked. Got added bits of wire everywhere. That's fun. Yeah, a bit of work required on this one. But yeah, what was the report? Let's have a look. Brad, just want to say our channel is fantastic. I do not know fuck all about anything, but I'm willing to learn. That's alright, mate. It's mainly people come here just for the shit talking, which is good. Means you can't lose. Bet you that orange one is 700 plus volts. Sprague. Can't read it. Measurements on the other side. (30-600 DC). Okay, so that means it's a 30 microfarad 600 volt cap. We've got a 450 volta. Can't read the capacitance, but that's a dual section, and that's bulgy as well. Then you got the 3 chassis mounted ones. So yeah, probably several hundreds, approaching over $1,000 to restore this one, I think. I'll get some figures laid out, but yeah, we can't power this on. I'm not powering that on with all those old caps. It's a fucking fire hazard. Shmoo from the bulging caps, yeah. Alright, well, I'm going to go make a cuppa. Boil the kettle, so we'll have a brief intermission. I'll see you back here in 5-6 minutes. Alright, legends.
Back in the tick. Taking care of business, working overtime. Oh, champions, how does it sound? Just having the, not the headset, just having the thing clipped to my collar. Got some green tea. Looks like sewage, which is how you know it's good. I fucked up and didn't buy myself tea bags, so no English breakfast today. Won't be able to get away from the shop. Get rid of this thing. Alright, what are we chatting about? I'm having PTSD from seeing the inside of that Ampeg. What do you mean last tech? A chimp with a stick isn't a tech. Well, it is in Australia. Great name for a band. Shmoo from the Bulging Caps. 600 volts for 1,000 hours, if that, yeah. Smoke them if you got them. I tried doing what Brad does by chopping out a bunch of amps. Got to amp 4 and stopped. Too much for my ADHD brain to handle. Chopping out a bunch of amps. Do you mean repairing? By that time I was also drunk too. What are you talking about, Alex? Oh good, an old Magnavox Ampeg, 30 microfarad at 600 volts. 2 radial 68 microfarads, 350 volts in series. Brad's been dry. Did he admit drinking in August? Yeah, I had some beers last night. And a whiskey. I had a Ardbeg 10. And Thursday night I had a couple of beers because it was the first day off. But yeah, I'm not going to drink through the week anymore, I think. No time, champions. The unchanged bias caps, yeah. There's some ambience. Sounds good. Are you picking up the Motu? Tommy Emmanuel played classical gas on American Dad. Oh, there you go. How you going, bed? What's going on, champ? Alright, caught up with the chat. So for this one, I'll just take some notes. We're going to have to rearrange a bit of stuff to make it work with the currently available caps. Just get rid of this reverb tank. Pardon me. There seems to be a bit of a consensus that the old Ampegs aren't really worth restoring, but don't know. I'll just give the customer a price once I've established what needs to be done. Oh, hiccups. What is wrong with my guts today? I think my body's not used to the alcohol. Maybe I should stop drinking altogether. And that cap's just floating around too. It's not really secured. Ah, that cap has 2 sections have been disconnected. Okay. 2 orange leads been cut off. 1 white lead's been cut off. Grounds are still connected. Interesting. That cap's got 1 section unused, so I think we can rearrange this probably rather effectively, because I think a bunch of aftermarket shit's occurred here. Oh, that's good. A big blob of solder stuck to a a wire, just floating around. See, I don't think the previous tech was up to the job. Now, one of my colleagues does make circuit boards that take radial caps for these. Not sure what model they're meant for, but I think they're kind of universal. I think they were for SVTs, but I think he's got several different versions, so I might hit them up and see what configurations they've got available, because that would make sense. Oh yeah, you got the active wire here with just fucking tape around it, which is always good. That's unsafe. Got about half a reel. What? I got tape around nothing. It's just the lead. That's weird. So how does that sound with just the mic on my chin? I'll plug into the headset now and you can tell me what the difference is. Alright, now we're into the mic on the headset. Does that sound better? Hello, hello, hello. Sounds natural. That's good, that's what we want. Oh, shit. Try not to smash a valve, Brad. Just take some notes on this one, and then we'll move on to the next one. So that was what was it called? GH50L. Third of the 8th. I'll write some notes on that one. Often I'll have to actually go back and watch my own video on on each amp. Ampeg BT40. Alright, so what caps do we need? Gonna have to re-engineer some parts of it, but I'll just write down what's in there. So we've got a 3-section 40 microfarad. 500 volts. Multi-section can. We've got a 1 by 100 microfarad and 1 by 40 microfarad. Multi-section can. What's the other one? Made in Mexico. I think that's the same again, but I can't see it. I just need my little mirror. $140. Yep. 2. I've written that wrong. 1 3 times 40. All right, then we've got an axial 30 microfarad, 600 volt. Eric, $5 again. Can you normally use radial cap in place of PC pin cap on a circuit board if it has the same values? I tried it and it smoked out. Yeah, that wouldn't be the issue there. So a radial cap, an axial cap, a can cap, a bloody you name it cap. All that matters is the voltage rating and the capacitance. If it's smoked, so the only two things that will make a cap fail immediately is getting delivered the wrong polarity or excess voltage. So basically one of those two cases has occurred. So check for a shorted rectifier if it's a filter cap and it's blowing up straight away or blowing fuses straight away. You could have a shorted rectifier, be it a valve or a solid state, and it's delivering AC to the cap. That's the most likely. The next most likely is that you accidentally put the wrong voltage rating in there. So you've got like a 50 volt instead of a 500 or something, but I think you'd notice that because the size would be dramatically different. The old lawn mowers are out there again, mowing that 1 millimeter off the grass that it's grown in the week since last. Polarity was good, okay, but was it getting delivered AC or DC? I was wondering about a tube amp Dr. 7025 in V1 as opposed to any standard 12AX7. Yeah, that'll work. Or a 5751. At the moment, the best, most reliable and quietest 12AX7 type valve at the moment is this one here. Order code RT006. 12AX7 WA-R. In high gain amps, they seem to be the quietest in terms of noise floor of any that I've used. Save it, Brad. It's a classic. Bill is how much? Yeah, that's right. That's right, Ted. So what's the other cap? That's a 450 volter. Can't read it. $20 and 20 microfarad. Dual section. $20 plus $20. 450 volt. I know F&T make them. If it's not 20, we could put a 33 in there. I believe they've got 33s and 22s in dual section axial. I know they've got 33s because I think I've got some in stock. Let's have a look. Maybe I've already used them. Yeah, must have used them on something. But yeah, the most logical thing to do would be make a daughter board that takes all radials and just mount it on some screw points down there and clean up the wiring in the process. Maybe mount the droppers on there as well. But then you're making a new board. This is the first time I've ever seen one of these amps. Like, how many are out there? Is it really going to be sought after? Am I going to be able to use more than one of them? Minimum order is 5 boards, and the developmental time to design the board is, you're not going to get any return on investment from that. So can you do away with the can caps? Yeah, that's the goal, Joe, because can caps are shit and they're a pain in the ass and they perform badly and they don't last long, and they're usually, their temp rating is pathetic, like the CE distribution ones. 65 degree rated, like 1,000 hours at 65 degrees. That's fucking lame. That's lame as fuck. You look at your average Nichicon radial, talking 10,000 hours at 105 degrees. So yeah, the can caps are a waste of time. I don't know why the fuck people still build with them. It's the whole vintage fanboy bullshit.
Oh, look, I've got really shit components in my amp. Let's charge $8,000 for my amp. Synthetic motor oil is superior, Ted. Hate to tell you. 12AX7 WA used to be a water department tube designation. 7025s were culled at a certain noise level. 12AX7As are supposed to meet the same noise specs, but were not culled out. It's all bullshit nonsense now. Yeah, it's just all crap. But that particular one there, I don't know. It's just, I've never had a bad one, and I've gone through probably like 30 or 40 of them now. Lol, I thought we were letting that go, Brad. Letting what go? Synthetic? Oh, Ted means oil labelled as synthetic. Some of those CDFP caps are only rated for 2,000 hours at 50. Yeah, 55C. I bought some that needed reforming before I could use them. Never again, yeah. What were we letting go, Scotty? I let go of nothing. Take a couple of photos just for my own memory. No memory card. It's because it's in my pocket, isn't it? Get my stance. Some overall shots just to refresh my memory. And we'll come up with a figure for that. We'll just throw them a single one-off cost for each of the valve types as well, just in case they need replacing. Just have a quick look at the top. Those cork sniffer amps. There's a lot of V22s and VT22s and VT40s. Still, I think the boards would at least sell 20 or 30. Yeah, and that's in the States though, and you got to find your market. It's probably too much traction required there. Inertia. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Chunky transformers. Very chunky transformers for a 50 watt, 40 watt amp. Sovtech 6L6 WXTs. Lots of spider webs. The sockets look pretty manky. Oh yeah, there's like crusty shit all over the pins. She's gonna need some work, champions. Nice valve layout, look, real logical. There's like crusty wax. Crusty wax or something all over them. I don't know, it's weird. It's almost like the wax you find in the Fender amps because it's run down the sockets, but this is a circuit board amp, so yeah, we can't tell what's burnt or anything on the board, so I might just remove these little covers. They had the right theory, like to make a serviceable amp. So you got the solder connections on one side, and you can drop the components out by removing this plate. Couple of pubes there, wrapped around the nuts. Pubes wrapped around the nuts. Sitting in a load of pouring concrete, bridge girder, listening to one of my favourite amp legends speak the gospel. Thanks, Max. I think you should probably pay attention to your job, though, if you're pouring a concrete bridge. That's alright, that's what the engineers are for, eh? It's their problem. I've got mates in the concrete engineering, civil engineering stuff, local legends. One of the biggest concrete manufacturing plants, I think in Australia, used to be about a block away, but it's shut down now. It's just vacant. That was Rockler. They made all the concrete piping, like drainage, you know, big, massive concrete pipes. I don't know where they've gone now, but there's a quarry just around the corner here where a lot of the concrete for the concrete sections for the tunnel projects across Sydney are getting manufactured, because they're making them in like little segments and then piecing them together to form the interior of the tunnel. Oh wow, got some tropical, what do they call them, tropical fish caps there, but their coating is completely peeling off. Looks like a few parts have been jimmied in there. A lot of the resistors are cracked. Yeah, pretty much all the film caps will need replacing because they're all cracked. And the carbon comps are discoloured, showing quite a bit of heat stress. And the carbon films have cracked bodies. So yeah, there's not a lot of good here so far, legends. It's all looking pretty negative, isn't it? But you know, that's this channel. It's the negativity channel, according to some commenting fuckwits. So someone's popped some Gemicon caps in there, probably bypass caps. A bunch of resistors have been cut out and nothing else in their place, and I'm not sure what that's all about. Very dirty and messy and spiderwebby. Shit, gotta open in 8 minutes. What? Have to call it on this one, legends. We only got through, what, 2 amps? It's a bit lame, isn't it? Should start at 6, but it can't be fucked. So, looking through here, you can see see this cap down here. It's lost its coating entirely. It's all just peeling off. Look at that. This one's not far behind it. It's probably stock, but it looks pretty big for its position. You can see that resistor's just jammed in next to it. The dropper resistors over here, they droppers. 100k, they might be bleeders or balancers. I don't know, I'd have to look at the schematic. But they're all blistered and bubbled, which is not great. There's the replacement caps there. What are they? 10 microfarad, 160 volt. So they could be the bias supply possibly. But yeah, these resistors have been cut out, nothing in their place. Unless they're ones on the other side. Maybe, yeah, that's probably been replaced from the other side. Yep. So they might be the bias dividers, maybe. They're changing the bias range by changing the resistor values, perhaps. I can't see any trim pots anywhere, so Oh, we've got some arc damage or something here. Alright. So here you can see charring's occurred. That could be just a wire touching that resistor. The resistor getting hot. But yeah, that's burnt through the insulation. Same on that one, and it's made the insulation really stiff in that area. It's just like crusted up. Couple of metal films down there that have been replaced. So someone's gone through and changed a few things, but by no means a significant restoration. So yeah, she's going to need a lot of work. R221's overheated. Jeez, where do you start? To make this thing reliable, it's going to take quite a bit of work. Just put them on JLC PCB so we can order our own. Same with the fender boards. So I'll definitely be buying those. Yeah, does JLC do that shit? There's also, what is it, GitHub? Tindy? Tindy's another one where you can buy stuff like that. Sort of like Etsy, but for nerds. Most who can't handle reality call it negativity. Yeah, absolutely, Wes. Like, no, I can't handle your truth. You're so negative. Such a pain in the ass to get the boards out. Yeah, a lot of wiring. At least you can access both sides. Yeah, pretty much every component, I think, should be accessible without removal. Does that amp have the 6K11 for the reverb driver? No, luckily. It doesn't have the Compactron, which are titanium. Why can't more manufacturers do this? Well, couldn't. I mean, yeah, you can access everything, but still not great construction technique, to be honest. I prefer a board that's just secured in a normal chassis. But then you can just flip the board up, you know, like have like a loom coming off one end of the board, and then just flip the board up. I think that's a lot more logical and cost effective and simple. Still has weird tubes. Yeah, well, it's on the lid. We've got 12 DW7. I've got a feeling that some of these valve types aren't right either. There's an awful lot of 12 AX7s in there, and I'm not seeing that many in the circuit. So V1. That's V5, V4, V2, V3, V1. So V1's supposed to be a 12 DW7. And it's got a 12 AX7. V2 is supposed to be a 12 AX7. And it's a 12 AX7. V3 is supposed to be a 6CG7. And it is a 6CG7. V4 is supposed to be a 12 DW7, and it's a 12 AX7. V5 is supposed to be a 12 DW7, and it's a 12 AX7. I'm not familiar with a 12 DW7. I'll have to look it up. V whatever the fuck. V201 is supposed to be a 6AN 6AN8A, and it's a 12AX7. And then in this case it's showing 4 7027s, but it's actually got its 2 6L6s. So I'll look up the specs on those valves. They sound familiar from fucking behave yourself. They sound familiar from the Australian amps, but I'm not familiar with the 12DW7. I'll look it up. 6CG7. Yeah, I think that is the reverb driver. B3. Let's have a look. There's a lot of snails or something have eaten the paper, but reverb tank. Reverb. That's reverb return. The driver is a 6CG7. And that's 2 triodes. And it's plate driven. Really? Because there's no reverb transformer. I'll try and find a better schematic than the one that's been eaten. Oh, Cold Acre, you turned up just as I've got to go. 10 o'clock, I've got to open the shop. Yeah, better open the shop. I'm going to take off, Legends. I'm really hungry too. I don't know why. I had a steak last night. I should be fine. Maybe the protein makes you hungrier. Anyway, I'm going to piss off. I'm going to do some paperwork, and then I'm going to try and get some guitars out today. Hopefully we don't have too many distractions, although customers are nice. They are distracting. Can't have it all, eh? So I'll catch you on the next one, Legends. I've got some more videos coming out. I tried to edit it last night, but I just wasn't feeling it. So I'll try and get them done over the weekend if I have time, and fire some down the pipe at you first thing next week. So have a good weekend, Legends. I'll talk to you sometime in the future. Rock on. Get a dog up here.